Did your garbage disposal break down, or maybe you're just trying to upgrade to a new or more powerful one? Well, check out our video coming up because we're going to show you how to swap one out. We'll even kind of go through and tell you the things that you want to look for in a garbage disposal, and we'll tell you a little bit about the one that we got right here. All coming up after this. Hey everyone, welcome to Two Dirty Families, where we do the research so you don't have to. And we're going to go through and show you how to swap out this garbage disposal. We had a little issue with our old one, but it's about 20 years old. It's definitely had and seen its day, so we're just going to go ahead and swap it out with this one. So let's talk about really quick some things that you want to look for in a garbage disposal. Two of the big things are just kind of the capacity of it and also just how powerful it is. And this is a 3/4 horsepower. Garbage disposals are anywhere from 1/2 horsepower to maybe a little over 1 horsepower. And of course, the more power you have, the more torque to chew up and grind up everything you're throwing down the sink. It's made by InSinkErator, bought it at Lowe's for about 150 bucks. You can get the, if you're not just wiring it up directly to like Romex or something, then you would need to plug it in with a power cord, and so they've got the kit there for about 12 or 13 bucks right next to it. But some cool things that we were looking at here, it's obviously, you know, got a pretty good warranty on it, 6-year limited warranty. The other thing is with this model, it's the Badger 15SS. The SS stands for stainless steel. So one of the things you want to look at is kind of the longevity and durability of that housing inside. Some have like a plastic housing, but then the components inside are either galvanized steel or stainless steel. This particular one has a stainless steel housing as well as the components are stainless steel, which is excellent because that'll prevent rust and things from corroding over time. Whereas some of them that have the galvanized steel, eventually you will start to see some rust and things can break down a little bit more quickly.
Okay, so real quick, the tools you need for the job, just need a bucket, maybe even a towel for any spills. I've got some paper towels here, flashlight, both types of screwdrivers, the Phillips and flathead. You're gonna need some plumber's putty and a hammer. Okay, so one of the first things you wanna make sure is that the power is disconnected. So if things are hardwired in, you wanna shut off the breaker. As mentioned, ours is just plugged into this outlet here, so we're just going to disconnect that. Then I'm going to get my flashlight going here just to give us a little bit of extra light.
And a couple things you want to disconnect right off the bat. This is going to be your drain coming from the dishwasher. So we've just got the dishwasher right here. And so that's just going to be a Phillips head screwdriver, so we'll take that off real quick. Now I'm going to get the bucket here just because we don't know what's gonna come out of here. It's been kind of plugged up since this thing stopped working. It wasn't too bad. You can see some of the water's draining out of that drain pipe from the dishwasher. And then these two bolts, there's one on each side. So this is just your P-trap and your drain that goes down to the sewer, but this is pretty easy. It's just got a gasket right behind here, so I'm going to get the flathead screwdriver you'll see on that. Let's loosen all this up. One thing that's going to help is just undo your P-trap here. So it's pretty tight. There we go. Got it to budge. Alright, so just set that P-trap aside there. But now that we've got this all hooked, your power's unhooked, your dishwasher's unhooked. So now it's just this flange that it's kind of a collar that goes on the bottom of your sink. It's best just to get like a screwdriver to come in here and loosen that up, and I'll show you that in just a second. I'm gonna free up my hands here. Now these are pretty heavy. Could drop pretty quickly, so you want to kind of have a hand under it. All right, so we need to pull this this collar right here just it spins off the bottom here, but you got to get a screwdriver in one of these grooves. So I'm going to do that there. It's kind of spinning up top, which it shouldn't be if it was tight enough. So I'm going to kind of hold this while I spin the bottom, and then beware because this bottom one's going to, the disposal itself's going to drop as soon as it comes off this collar. So there, it just budged loose, but hasn't dropped yet. So I'll try to put a hand under it to support it while I spin it off the rest of the way. There we go. And then we just set that there in the bucket. All right, so now we got the garbage disposal off, and I backed off these screws that kind of put pressure up on that plate, and it separates these and keeps pressure on it, because what happens is after you release those, there's actually a retaining clip underneath here. So if you get your flathead screwdriver and just kind of pry that out, you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. So there's the clip. That ring on the bottom there holds that collar in place. So you're just going to kind of work it off. So now that that ring's off there, that comes off, this comes off, and then this piece in here is just the ring that sits in the bottom of your sink from up top. All right, so let's see what's in this box here. Looks like we've got an instruction manual. This actually comes with a new ring that goes down to the bottom of your sink, as well as that whole assembly that we just took off on the bottom there. Even comes with a new stop there, drain stop. So that's nice. Then we've got the new beautiful garbage disposal. So looks like that's where we're gonna have to wire that in. So we'll do that before we get it all installed. And then it's just got the same connections that we disconnected down below for your drain pipe to the sewer. And then this is the drain from the dishwasher. So we'll get that wired up here in just a second. And then it just comes with a bag that has that drain pipe assembly, the new gasket that goes just on the side there, and then a wrench. So this is kind of one of those, if you get jammed up, it has a little Allen key on the bottom here where you can actually throw that in there and turn it by hand to kind of break whatever's stuck in there in the jam, and then gets it unjammed. So all right, well, we're gonna get this power cord out and get things wired up and show you how that works in just a second. All right, so we've got the wiring kit pulled out. I will just throw out a disclaimer that I'm a pretty savvy electrician, so I'm pretty comfortable doing this, but if you're not, or you don't have much experience with wiring of any kind, then you probably wanna get a professional electrician to help you out with this. Just make sure that you don't hurt yourself or burn your house down. So, anyway, we'll go ahead and get this all wired up. I'm not going to go through and show you this part just because I don't want to be responsible for you doing it and something bad happening. So, but this plate on the bottom just comes off on this garbage disposal, and I'm going to get that wired up, but then we'll be able to plug it in when we get it set up down below. All right, so we've got this all wired up. Plate's back on, that's ready to go. This assembly I showed you a second ago, I just pulled that ring off the bottom just like we did on the old one. Pulled this housing apart. This gasket we're going to be putting on the bottom underneath the sink. And then this is the new flange that sits in the top of the sink. And we just used our plumber's putty and rolled a snake and put it around. That's more than you'll ever need, but I like to do a little bit more. And then when you tighten things down, put some pressure on that, you'll see that it starts to come out the sides and you can wipe the excess away. Just prepare the inside of the sink and take that old putty away and kind of clean that up so that when you set the new one in, it's ready to go. Apologize for the dirty sink. Obviously, we had things backing up with that garbage disposal not working. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drop this in there. Just kind of get it set the way you want. Get that putty kind of down a little bit. And then you need a little bit of weight on that. Either hold it if you got long enough arms, you know, from the top, or have someone help you. Some people also even just set the garbage disposal down on top of that to kind of keep the weight on there, to keep that from popping up as you're getting this all put on down underneath. So I'm gonna grab this, these rings. I'll take a flathead screwdriver in case we need it. Okay, so we're gonna put that gasket on first, and then you've got your kind of that triangle pressure plate, and then you've got the this triangle ring underneath that kind of sits right underneath, and then you can see this groove right here is where you're gonna have this ring installed as kind of a retaining clip or retaining ring. And you'll see that it just kind of separates as you get it up and around the back side of that. There we go. You've got your gasket in there, and you've got your putty on the ring up top, and now that retaining ring's in there. This bottom thing's not going to come off, and then kind of tighten everything up with these 3 bolts. Alright, so everything's nice and tight up there. Waited until that putty was coming. I just wiped that away, but that's a good indication that things are pretty tight when you see that up there. And then not everyone's gonna hook these up to a dishwasher. And so there's a little knockout that kind of keeps this sealed off if you're not gonna use a dishwasher. Keeps water from coming out there, so it's a little plug. So that's what your hammer and your screwdriver's for. I'm gonna just take these real quick, and since we are going to hook up our dishwasher, I'm gonna just tap that out. Get this pretty well out. Might need some pliers or something to grab that. We'll see if I can snag it here. Alright, so we got that little plug knocked out. So that's ready to go. So this is the flange that is going to hook onto the grooves on that plate that's underneath the sink. So we're just going to hook it on there and then tighten this up with a screwdriver like we did when we're taking it off. Alright, so I'll get these screws back in here. And then we'll get our dishwasher drain plug back up. Okay. Alright. Now let's hook the P-trap back up. Everything's nice and solid. Okay, and we'll go ahead and plug it back in. Run the water. Sounds like it's working just fine. Check for any leaks underneath here. Yeah, everything's looking pretty good. Alright everyone, so now you know how to swap out a garbage disposal, and hopefully that was a helpful video, and that the tips at the beginning about how we selected the garbage disposal was helpful as well. But if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel. And that's it for Two Nerdy Families, and we'll see you next time.